Okay. Opening up the July 19th, 2018 Planning Board meeting at 6:03. I'm actually going to look at a request from our review engineer, Judith Nitsch, that they would request an additional $10,000 towards review on what was Bassett Knoll Estates, which is now Rainham Preserve off Locust Street. This money's for doing engineering review and site inspection while the project's still ongoing. Does anyone want to make a motion to that effect?
I so moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We have a Form A, it's scheduled for 6:15, but it's not a public hearing, so we can take it at any time. It's on 800 North Main Street, and the applicant is named Shippey. I know Burke looked at the paperwork. Is it all in order? Or?
I believe it is. I'll have to hear what they're doing and look at the plan before I really know.
Have copies of the plan? Could put in front of us?
Russ has them all.
Just get that down there. Okay. So basically, it's taken a small, correct me if I'm wrong as I'm talking, it's taken a small piece shown as parcel A, 1,200 square feet. And parcel A, let's see where it says what it's doing.
The note, Mr. Chairman, is in the top left-hand corner.
Oh, okay, purpose of plan.
Can you state that?
Yes, certainly. My name is Peter Solino. I am the attorney for the applicant, Norman Shippey. I maintain offices at 550 Locust Street in Fall River. The plan before you tonight is a plan aimed at the settlement of a pending Superior Court case in the Taunton Superior Court. The specifics of the settlement are that parcel A, as referred to on the plan, which is approximately 1,200 square feet, will be conveyed to the abutter, which is Avellino.
Yeah.
They live on Lounsbury. The boundary line that is in dispute would be the southerly, strike that, would be Avellino's.
So Avellino's new rear lot line would be there.
Yeah, the rear lot line, which would be Avellino's southeasterly line, I guess. And the northwesterly side of the Shippey property. And the engineer sort of used the customary sort of dotted box there to show parcel A. So,
No.
Mr. Fountain, that's the purpose of the plan, is to settle the litigation.
So, Avellino has used this as something or other?
Part of the dispute, but there's a pool house, an overhang, and a fence in that area, and it seemed to be pragmatic to settle the case through a swap
So
of land.
that's all on Avellino's property that you're talking about?
No.
Are they disputing the property line, or are they just,
We commenced suit to compel
To get
them to
in,
remove
yeah.
some things from what we believe is on our property.
so you finally gave up
And we
and gave it?
compromised to give them some land so as not to require them to move the pool house, et cetera.
Okay.
Pretty nice of you.
Well, it's not that nice. There's money involved.
Yeah, I'd imagine. No, Glenn, you have a good land surveyor, I'll tell you that. He's one of the best around. But yeah, I mean, you're losing any frontage, you're not making your lot any less conforming, so it meets all the rules of a A&R plan.
It looks fine to me.
Anyone want to make a motion to approve this?
I make a motion that we accept a plan entitled Approval Not Required Plan of Land of Norman Shippey, 800 North Main Street, prepared for Norman Shippey, Town of Rainham, prepared by Reed Land Surveying, Inc. of Lakeville. Plan is dated July 6, 2018, is a plan not requiring subdivision approval.
I hear a second.
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Okay. We only have one member sign it, the clerk, and you can take the Mylar. Three or four copies? So we need three.
Wow, it's quite shocking that someone this far from Fall River would know me.
I grew up on Johnson Street.
Okay.
Your grandfather, I'm guessing.
Alphonse Jr.
Okay. Rented the garage from us.
Okay.
At the corner of Beatty and Johnson.
So, you didn't see my card, but my name is Peter A. for Alphonse.
Okay.
Yes, my dad is Alphonse the third.
The third, okay.
Do I pick that up a different night? or
You can pick it up now.
As soon as he's
Okay,
done.
okay, thank you.
Now we make you make a special trip all the way back. We gotta go to the Taunton Registry anyway. Oh, no, Fall River. No, you got to go to Taunton, yeah, you gotta go to Taunton. Bob, do you know if the Locust Street, is he in the hall or no? He's probably, Let's see.
6:25, so.
I know, bummer.
Well, I make a motion to waive the reading and approve the minutes of June 21, 2018.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
You're reading my mind, Burke. Correspondence, we had the Cornerstone Estates public hearing continued. They wanted the next available, so what would that be, August 2nd?
August 2nd.
Wow.
Thank you.
August. Why don't we have it at, well, that 1,000 New State Highway, maybe, that's the one with the trucking?
Yes,
Yeesh. Why don't we just set them at 6:15, just in case
okay.
they end up... You wonder if that was the intent all along, you clear the property first. But,
He pulled 6 permits for 6 buildings.
oh, did he?
He paid a lot of money in permit fees.
Wow,
So I don't think that was his intent.
no,
He can't get that money back now.
wow,
I would imagine 6, he probably spent over $100,000 on permit fees, so. Wow. Yeah.
wow.
So this deal must be pretty.
Yeah, it must be worth it.
Very lucrative. But I just got the plans, I haven't reading that, I just got them the other day, so, you know,
They get plenty of time to look at them then?
we'll get time to look at it.
Planning coordinator? do you have
Is there
any-
anything we can do about,
Wait,
you know, piles of parts laying out and half-torn apart trucks and...
Yeah, you give me the addresses and I'll pay some attention to them.
That's what I'm talking about.
Talking about New State Highway?
Yeah.
You mean for that particular site plan? Well, they probably need to be screening, probably an area for that kind of thing. I'm sure we'll get into that during the public hearing process.
Okay, because Dan was good enough to look at a couple of their other sites.
And they have a lot of potted out vehicles.
Well, it's nothing like what they show in the picture with shiny new trucks and nothing else.
Yes, right. And in fact, when they first here talked about that, I looked up one of these sites, if you recall.
I showed it to you, it had partially taken apart school buses and truck cabs.
That's the trucking terminal thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think that could be problematic. I guess we had you scheduled for 6:25, you're from Locust Street, right?
Yes, sir.
We don't have anything, we had a public hearing, excuse me. They got continued, so I guess we can take you now. And so this is for discussion for a property on 869 Locust Street, for possible subdivision of land.
Possible what?
What is it?
Did you say possible subdivision?
Possible subdivision of land? Is that what it says? It's
Yeah, subdividing, yeah, just,
Yeah.
you know.
So if you want to state your name and get up and try to explain to us what you're doing.
My name is Barney Bornstein. I reside at 869 Locust Street. If I can pass you a couple of these. That's my current lot. I have 500 and some odd feet of frontage on Tirol. I'm actually on Tirol, not on Locust.
But you have a locus address. They must have gave that when they did the variance there.
I believe so. The original paperwork has a Tirol address on it, but maybe they did that for mailing purposes or something. But the frontage is definitely on Tirol.
How far is it from locus to your frontage?
About to the driveway is about 700, about 800 feet to the, if I may.
And that currently has a paved driveway all the way from locus.
It's right about there is where, from there up is
Yeah.
800 feet.
It would have been helpful to actually see the whole picture, you know?
I know, I didn't know how far we were gonna go with this tonight.
Yeah.
We're just kind of, wanted to toss it around a little bit before I spent money on engineers and things like that.
There's a posted sign on it, said the road, says the road is closed.
I drove up there today. You might have been sitting on the porch when I turned around in your driveway.
And the reason that sign is there is because it's actually a private road. So that means myself and the other people that own property on there are supposed to have the right to go up and down it. I've had kids come through there at 30 miles an hour
Wow.
by the driveway
I was going slow, right?
in the white car.
I wanted to see what it was back there. Never been back there.
And my property goes on that dirt road that you saw
Mm-hmm.
further up.
Yep.
And that's where I'm trying to, the other end of it. I'm trying to come in from the other end of Tirol
Mm-hmm.
and not come down the paved way.
So what's your proposal is to,
So this is just coming in the other way.
so the last, if I'm correct if I'm wrong, the last house on that road now is Paul Bamiller's house? When the roadway was upgraded? I believe that's as far as they went in?
That's what I got here. If I may just put this in the center, I'm sorry, I don't have more copies.
Oh, that was Paul's plan, right?
This is Paul's plan here.
Yeah,
Okay. This is his house.
yeah.
Now this, from here to here is loose ground asphalt. It's not pavement. But he did widen this, and then from here, this turns into woods. From here, my lot begins here, but my house is up here. So what I'm looking to do, and I talked to the water department, they want to get this pipe up to Locust eventually, because they have an issue with water quality down here. So they would like to continue that and make a loop. And he was all for anything that I'm going to do, basically.
Who's he?
John.
John Chase.
John Chase. And, ultimately, he'd rather, the pipe go all the way, but the problem with that is it's just so expensive to do for one lot. It's just,
Where do you start, right here?
I start right here. And that's where I'd be looking to. put
Well, that's the
house.
260 right here. on
And
the
if you
plan.
see right
Okay,
here, that's
yeah,
where,
260.
that's just a square for a building area. It's not really a house or anything. But that's what I'd be looking at. And you guys were talking about pressure feed lines for the septic. So I just run a pump system down.
That's not really our deal, that's up to sewer department.
Okay.
This isn't paved, I thought Paul had to
No.
pave this.
No, this is
No,
not.
When we did this, Paul widened it, he did crushed asphalt, he put water, sewer, and we felt at that time he had enough improvements, cost-wise, that the next guy coming along who wants to build further down would have to pave it plus whatever else that's required.
Which is fine. There's a lot from here to here that now has the benefit of his line, his surge lines. It says it's non-buildable, and I think it's in legal matters right now. So he's actually going to get the benefit of the line of the underground utilities without actually paying for any of them.
Sort of just what we did at the other end.
Yeah.
The guy 2-3 houses in is gonna have to pay for the line and all the improvements, and the lot before him is getting the benefit from it.
That was the same thing that happened when
Oh.
Paul did this,
First come,
because they
first
actually
come,
made him...
first serve, unfortunately.
They made him put sewer services for every potential lot on the frontage, so both sides got benefit of that.
Which I believe is the same guy that owns this,
Yeah, Heloise.
owns,
I think that's all Helody's.
Yeah, Heloise is all out one side. It was either Heloise or the son that's got his name as Holidays. The other guy came down in the end.
Yeah, this is-
I mean, I think the idea here at some point was to have Terrell Road go all the way through.
Well, what we had said was Taylor Road will go all the way through. That was reality. We figured sooner or later, it's gonna connect. Just like, you're in front, you want a house lot, the guy down the other end wants a house lot, Paul wanted a house lot, so if we don't make each person coming in making improvements, then it would never get done.
And I think this is, there's no way that this would happen if this all had to be paved. But my thought was that, now this guy is getting the benefit of, and he can contribute and pave it.
Well, if he came in front of us, we'd probably want him to do some upgrades as well. It'd be ideal if everyone would sit down with each other and say, let's just do this road, because you're all getting benefits out of it. Unfortunately, the reality is, you get people that just sit back and hope that someone else who comes before them does the work.
And I'm willing to put my part in, and this line is not cheap. There's 325 feet of water line, and that's a 12-inch line. And that line's really expensive, it's cement lined.
Yeah, I mean, our issue isn't the sewer or the water, ours is the road.
Well, what I'd be looking to do is, right now, you can only get, and I'm sure you guys, when you drove down there, there's only enough room for a car to get through the woods here. And I'd be willing to open this up from here to somewhere around here, so that you can get, fire truck and vehicles, because I know the fire department, when their development got shut off with that last storm we had, when all the telephone poles went down, they couldn't get in and out of their development. So what they did is they came in this way. Now, if a fire truck had to come in that way, I think it'd have a problem getting through there.
Well, at a minimum, what we've always done in the past, at a minimum, you would have to widen and clean that whole stretch all the way past, wherever you're gonna subdivide,
I'm only going to here.
wherever your
Well,
line
this
is.
the line would go actually to this bound. This point here
This point here
is
is
there.
this point, right there.
And the lot, if he subdivided, he's showing a line going here, so this would be one lot from here over, this would be one lot.
And you're talking about almost 400 feet. It's
Well, ask Paul, he had to do the same thing, he brought it all the way.
right, but he's also, when it comes time, he has all these other lots that he can subdivide, because he's got 6 acres here, so he can pick up this, and this, all the way down. And
Yeah, but he'd
I
have
know that's in the
he'd
back
have
of
to
his
sit
mind.
and continue that. So, I mean, maybe you should sit down with Paul and see if you can't work something.
Well,
out.
I was gonna work something out with him, or try to, with the water line. And, I was gonna upgrade the road, to the 18 or 20 feet wide of, a good road base, and then some asphalt base on top of that. And the other end you guys were talking about, that's already asphalted. You're talking about bringing it back to asphalt. He's not bringing it up past
Oh, it's asphalt.
it's asphalt now, we're just bringing it back up to the same level it is now. We're just widening it by 9 feet, where he's putting his lines in.
From curb to curb. He's not just adding 4 feet on both sides. He has to do the whole 18 feet wide,
Right.
all the way up to
Which
past his
is-
property.
Which is not what he intended to do. He intended to go 9 feet wider on one side, put a strip in, his
Right,
utilities.
but that's not what we, right.
So he's not gonna develop it. He'll never, he told me after the meeting.
He came to see us over a year ago, probably a year and a half ago, I think, and we told him exactly the same thing. It's unfortunate, there's multiple people, like Chris just said, there's multiple people along here, and problem that, number one, even though that this is a private way, it's
Yep.
open to the public. The court you cannot block off a private way, period.
You can't block off a
I have all paperwork that, I think, Bob, we've gone over this. You can't put a sign, you can't block it off, it's not yours to do that. That's
Well, we
open-
don't have it blocked
That's
off.
open, well,
Yeah.
whoever has signs, that's open to the public. if we let you build over here and we let you run the water line,
Yep.
this guy can come in and say, we have access.
Well, he already has access right here.
He does, up to here. He has water up to here.
Yep.
So he can build here,
Right, exactly, and he didn't pay for any of this.
and he didn't pay for anything. If he wants to do anything else, he would have to come in front of us to subdivide. We would give him a Form A, and we would tell him he'd have to pay this.
Well, this is my point, that I'm putting in this, I'm upgrading this, he can be the guy that asphalts it, because that'll be about the same cost.
Soon as this gets improved with water and sewer up to there, and if we deny somebody to come in for Form A, saying that they don't have adequate access, we would lose in court.
I'm lost on that. Why wouldn't he have a Form A lot?
Right, why wouldn't he have?
He would, it does.
He would, so if we're gonna require him to do pavement,
Yep.
where this is all this from here down is, they would not, you can't build unless you get planning board approval. From whatever we had these people do prior to, up to this point, if he comes in for Form A, if he doesn't want to pave that, then he doesn't have to. We would put a stipulation if we approve the plan, but if he files an appeal, we would lose because he has adequate access. We've already given him adequate access, and Bamilla paid for it. So if we don't make you do it,
Well,
then it's not gonna,
Well, I'm
it'll
not-
never get done.
I'm doing the same thing that Bamilla's doing. The exact same thing. I'm asphalting it, I'm putting ground asphalt down, just like he did, putting the water lines in, just like he did. So I'm doing the exact same thing that he did. And he didn't bring this to the end of his lot, he brought it to about the same place I'm looking.
I
Well,
think we made him do the 150 feet.
what we
for the
did,
frontage.
right, what we did is made him go by that because he had so much room there, and figured if he wanted to develop all that, then he's gonna have to come back in front of us to continue it.
I think we made him go, it doesn't really show the station, but we made him go enough that it would be the frontage for the one lot.
When we could pull out his conditions when we approved his, yeah. And I think we even, right in that meeting, we said that we were gonna, anybody that comes after him would have to pave.
Well, I had suggested in the past that it would be nice if the town put in the road and did a betterment on everybody. It would be fair.
Yeah.
Plus the fact it would be consistent. It wouldn't be, tying things together every 150 feet.
And what would the benefit be?
They take the,
Whatever it costs to
whatever
do
it
it.
costs divided by whoever's, they probably ratio it on frontage.
Problem is
They
that,
probably what? Ratio it on frontage.
problem is that'll never get done. We've already discussed that several times, and that's,
I mean, we've discussed, I've thrown it out a couple times, and that's as far as it's gone. Nobody's actually gone to the selectmen and asked them if they'd consider it.
That is the
And
fairest way to
I
do
mean,
it.
I'm not gonna do it, but somebody who owns property along there might do it.
yeah, I'm not sure if, I don't recall, but I thought that was,
I might be wrong, but I
think
don't
Roger
remember
Stolte-
anybody.
the numbers that Roger Stolte came up with back when Bamilla, because Bamilla was trying to, I believe, he was working with Roger, and they were trying to put something like that together where it would get done, because Terrett Road has been on the radar for years, and it was,
It's not gonna be cheap.
it was
but-
over $1 million to go from here to the other end, and
Well, and when it gets all done, with everybody doing this, a little of this and a little of that, at some point, the town's gonna have to come in when this whole thing gets done, and people are taking that road as a shortcut from one end of town to the other. The town is gonna have to go in and redo at least the asphalt, if nothing else.
They're already doing that.
And it's gonna
Right.
cost them,
They're already taking the
pay
shortcut.
now or pay later, but the town's gonna end up paying.
And as of right now, I'm doing the maintenance on that road. I'm doing the plowing on that road.
Well, it's a private road, it's a private road. It was approved as a private driveway, so it's up to you to get access to your property.
No, I don't have any problem with that, but is it a private driveway or is it a private road? Because I've just been told it's a private road.
Taylor Road has always been a cart path. It's listed as a cart path, and it's hundreds of years old, and it's a way.
By Massachusetts statute.
Just
it's a-
because you got the house that you're living in, they got a variance. They called it a driveway. You know, what they did 25, 30 years ago, whatever that was done, the wording of it, you know, Board of Appeals put the driveway. That doesn't mean it's a driveway.
So as a planning board, you put together rules that you would not allow a house to be built unless it was on an approved way or approved road, approved by the planning board. So unless it had adequate frontage, a building permit cannot be issued. Even if you have a Form A plan, it would be unbuildable unless you approve the way.
Yeah.
So the only two mechanisms, you touched on both of them today, is all the landowners get together and build a road to the minimum specs that we put together for Sandy Hill, or before Sandy Hill, or they petition the selectmen to build a road and then have a betterment, like Chris said, however they decide to do it, you know, per lineal footage of frontage, and then you come up with a number and decide whether that's, you know, that's economically feasible for the owners to get together and pay that.
Or you just wait until they keep developing and get closer to where you are, and then, you know, your expenses will be a lot less.
Yeah, 'cause right now,
Well,
the way
this
the
is-
zoning is written, you have to have frontage on a public way or a way approved by the planning board. So this is clearly not a public way. So even these people couldn't Form A without our approval.
Well, how did he get
And
his
we-
then?
Well, basically, he came in, and the planning board can determine that whatever these upgrades are adequate access for X amount of homes. So at the time, the planning board determined that this upgrade was adequate access for one home. So that was what Paul had to do for his one home. If there was other upgrades, we could actually say, well, in our opinion, this isn't adequate for these 2 or 3 extra houses. It was adequate for one, but now that you want to come in and put more, you're going to have to pay into the kitty and do some upgrades.
But I am that's exactly what I'm talking about, doing all the underground, upgrading the road, widening it. The only thing I'm not talking about doing is asphalt.
The upgrade has to be adequate in the eyes of the planning board.
Sure.
We're not necessarily saying that that's adequate to us. I mean, we can look at Paul's decision, but I think the idea, and Dan may remember it more than me, because I think I either missed a meeting or wasn't involved in this. I think I remember when it happened, but I know Dan was more versed on it than I am. And if he's saying that, you know, the decision said, yeah, you're gonna have, next guy's gonna have to pave, that I'm sure was in there, and that was the condition. I know we went back and forth a lot, and we
And
were
he's the
hoping,
next guy.
if he comes in, it's whoever's next to come in, you don't have to
Next to
be,
come in, okay.
yeah,
okay.
basically, and that's why the, you know, kid down the other end of the street, when he came in, he was given a certain level that he had to upgrade to. And it would be ideal if everyone just got together and upgraded the whole thing, but as you can see, that's not gonna happen. Those other people are sitting back saying, well, let the other people upgrade it and we'll walk in. I mean, we're in a similar situation in another part of town where someone's gonna get a big benefit from what another person's doing, but if that's what they wanna do to get their land, in this case, it's a utility.
I know the guy next to me has no intentions of, and in back of me, he owns that 10 acres there, he has no intentions of developing his property
Yeah.
at all.
Well, if they-
Nobody has intentions until they decide to do it.
And I agree with that.
So, I mean, this was Dick Chevalier's for years, and he never really took it a step further until Paul ended up buying it.
So you don't think upgrading that, as far as upgrading the underground and upgrading the road conditions and widening it so that you'd have more access, you don't think that'd be sufficient, even though you already did that there? And some of the other properties in town too, I thought, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought that some of the people had to do the asphalt, but some of the people before them had to run the underground further. So one person paid for the underground, the other guy paid for the asphalt, instead of putting the burden of all of it. Because if it gets done your way, it'll never get done, because a lot is not worth that kind of money. The asphalt that, to pick up one lot.
But there's probably 10 houses, at least 10 or 12 houses that can be built before yours. So there's a lot of money there.
Before mine?
Yeah.
Where, in here? This is 2 acres right here.
All of this is more than 2 acres because this goes all the way back.
That's another lot.
Right, but it's all Hellenes.
But he has access from here and here to pick all that up. And
But
he'll have to
he
put a road
doesn't
in it.
necessarily have access there, though. We'd have to determine that it's adequate. So he'd have to come in and put some upgrades in.
Exactly.
And that was the plan.
Which is what I just said. There's like- there's at least 12 more-
If anyone else comes in, then they
There's
can
about
upgrade.
12 more houses that can be built, and out of those 12, there's all of the upgrades should be enough to get this up to wherever they're
So if I'm
going.
reading you right, you want me to upgrade this all the way to here, so he can put his 12 houses in, and he can put his houses in? That don't sound right to me.
No,
It doesn't sound fair to me.
It doesn't sound fair, and it doesn't sound right, but
And if
you're
that's
down-
the way you want it done,
but-
it'll never get done.
You're
And
down
that's-
there, you want to get, you want to get something done when these guys are just sitting here, and that's the problem that we have. It's just, it is what it is.
That's the same problem he had. He
It's-
approached
Right, but
people.
if-
He approached people to try to share in the expenses, and they all said, oh, no, you got equipment, you got this, you can do it. And
I don't know
They
who
see-
these people were he was talking, the only ones you could have been talking to is this guy. Who
well,
else would he
he's
be
there,
talking to?
he's there too.
Well, he's already got a house lot right there. He came in off of this.
I think he got a,
For one lot.
His access is off of this.
Yeah,
He's
right.
not- He's not on
no,
that,
he-
he's on that.
yeah, I don't know if he got a variance or something, but.
Well, I agree with this gentleman. I wouldn't make him pay for the utilities and the asphalt. I mean, if he does the utilities, obviously he's got to do a little something to make the road passable, but I'd wait for the next person to come in and pay for the asphalt.
I mean, I think we should take a look at Paul's approval, take a look at his certificate of action, see what it says.
And I'm not looking to develop this, to move out, I'm looking to develop this myself, and I actually have enough for 2 lots there, not one. And if you look at this, I'm just trying to get a 2-acre lot here for myself. I mean, if I was gonna develop it all the way and go to here, then I'm gonna end up with 2 lots.
But
I'm not
whatever
gonna
we
be here for
did, we'd
one.
make you go for the full 150 feet from your lot line. Because that's what happened here, but that's
Oh,
the
okay.
idea, you'd go 150 from your lot
When I
line.
talked to the, John, the water department,
John's got nothing to do with
no, he
planning
was just
board.
happy to get the water line as far as he could.
Yeah, we'd probably go the 150 feet, and you'd bring it,
That makes 450 feet.
yeah, whatever, it's not.
You have
is
to bring
what
it to the
is.
end of your
You
property.
bring it to the end of,
Well, my-
As if this was a
property is
lot.
Is another, that's 600 feet.
well, we're
Now
saying
you're talking to the end of
150
my-
feet from here. Because you're not going to create a Form A with 40 feet of pavement, 20 feet of pavement, I mean, just to get your
No, I don't
driveway.
have,
You know what I'm saying?
it's the water line that's really expensive. And like you said, he does that for a living, so for him to put his guys in there
Yeah,
and
but it's
run a
still-
line is
Yeah,
it's
but it's
completely
still-
different
yeah,
than.
Yeah, but it's not, what he does for a living isn't germane to what we're doing here. I mean, the 12-inch water line, it's got nothing to do with us. The ejector sewer line, it's got nothing to do with us. Ours is all adequate access, so it's under the pavement, we really could care less, except the drainage is the only issue we ever address.
Okay, so I don't need to talk about the water lines, as long as I get those approved by the.
Yeah, you'd have to get
search
those
department and
approved
the
by
water
them, yeah.
department. You guys are okay?
Yeah, we're fine.
So your main concern is getting access to 150 feet of, to the.
We have required water and sewer gets brought all the way to the end of the property. So if you're going to have 150 feet, water and sewer has to go all the way to the
Yeah,
end
but
of
the
the property.
property's, the lot is 300.
150 feet, if you have frontage, if you're subdividing this, and you're taking a house lot here, you're not, if you want water and sewer here, then you're going to have to come all the way to here. If you're only subdividing this,
No, this is the lot, my lot goes from here to here.
correct.
What I want to do is subdivide this off
Okay.
and pick up from here to here, which
Okay,
is
so-
377 feet.
150 feet from here to here. You bring water and sewer and stuff. Now, the next guy that comes along, if you subdivide this and make another lot, you have to add your water and sewer. If
Which I don't
not,
have a problem with.
if not, then the next guy, if he comes over here, he has to bring it down and go past your house, and he's gonna be complaining he's gotta go 400 feet past your house.
Okay, so when this guy develops his lot, he's going to have to bring the water line to there.
He's gonna have to do, I don't know, if wherever,
It's already going to be there.
if he comes in
No, so
for,
it ends here.
no, if he comes in to develop this and he wants to go one lot, then if it's already there, then he doesn't have to do water and sewer, but he's gonna have to pave.
But he's gonna have to pay.
but he's gonna have to pay. He has to do something.
Well, that's what I was looking to do. I was looking to do something, but not get stuck with the whole burden of.
You don't even want to run water and sewer to the 150 feet past you, even if we said you don't have to pay it.
I know, but it's not 150 feet, it's 325 feet just to get it to there. So you're talking about another 125 feet.
But you can see what we
At
did to
$100
Paul.
a foot.
We can see what, if Paul had to run it, Paul had to run it
$100,000.
600 feet.
It was all the way down
He
here.
had to run it all the way down here till he got to his land, then the 150 feet. So we're saying it doesn't matter, where your land is where your land is. You run it from wherever to 150 feet. That wherever could be 200, it could be
Right, So
600.
he ran it 150 feet from there to there?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, from here, 150 feet past his
Yeah.
property line.
Yeah, it's just not, it's not feasible for me to do, because I'm not picking up, he's got 10 acres here, or 5 acres, and he can pick up, multiple lots,
Well, it's a
so.
5-member board, you're only listening to a couple of guys here. Burke said he doesn't have a problem with the pavement. What's Russ think? I mean, you can present anything to the board, and it's up to the board to vote on it. We have a standard that we have put in place. So,
I'm just trying to get what that standard is.
well, you know what the standard,
I gave you the standards.
we have the standard of road width and for minor roads, like this would be considered a minor road because
Yeah.
it's an old cop path.
Right, which would be 18 feet or something.
Correct. So that's our minimum standard.
Okay, which is no problem, that's easy.
So now we take and we look at it. How many houses can be built, the distance that you want to go, how many more houses can be built on that distance? We can't just look at you all the way down the end. Unfortunately, it would be nice if Mr. Bamilla wanted to come in here and develop, and this guy came in here and developed. It'd be nice for you, because then it's going to be done. If not, you got some, you either got
But
money.
I'm not looking for a free ride for somebody else to come in like some of the other people at the other end of the street. I'm looking, I'll pay my way, but I don't want to pay everybody else's way either.
What about doing well and septic?
I can do that too.
It's not, that's not the.
Changes your frontage and your lot size.
It does what?
They'll change your frontage and your lot size.
That's fine for me, because I'm
Yeah,
still
he's got
dealing
2
with 2 acres
acres.
and 370 feet of frontage.
Oh, yeah, he's got enough.
It doesn't cost anything to petition the selectmen.
No, but before I
Give it a shot, all they can do is say no to you.
But
That's all
before
I
I
can
go
do.
out and spend the engineering, so you guys have something to actually.
Well, I hear you, but we're back in a hot spot for you right now. I don't know what to tell you.
What do you think, Russ? I think you were here when we did these other ones.
I don't know, Vanilla might have been there already. I
I
can't
seem to remember a young guy coming in here that wanted to do something out there, and when we talked to him about the same type of...
That was on the other end. And he came in twice for discussion. We told him what he had to do, we approved it. But like he just said, he's not gonna go through with it because it's too
Too
expensive.
expensive, yeah, that's right. I was gonna say, that's where I think he ended up.
Excuse me, Chris. There are some conditions that Roger Stolte put in place when he allowed Paul to build his house, and when Paul brought in the utilities and the improvements across his frontage. I think we should probably digest what those are.
Well, that's what I said, maybe we should
Try to get those for you
revisit
next week.
this, get those conditions and see what was on there.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times that's recorded separate from the plan. See what that is, digest it, and then have you come back at the next
Get the
meeting.
minutes to that
Yeah.
meeting too, to see.
Get the minutes and put that together and come back so we can see.
Because he wasn't happy neither. He wasn't happy that he had to run all that in there for.
His brother wasn't happy that it cost all that much, and they're in business together. Peter didn't like it.
And I think in the meantime, if you have a chance to sit down with some of the other landowners, maybe toss this thing around and see if they want to get involved. And maybe it'll help reduce your costs if it does go the private route and not the town being involved in the roadway construction.
So to actually install asphalt, I mean, as far as the, widening the road that's there, bringing it up to something that Vermillion has now, and putting the underground. I don't have a problem with that, it's just the asphalt is the
I
part
think
that's.
Paul has a gravel driveway because he's only one house. I think it's up to the planning board to decide if gravel is adequate or if it's the time to put some asphalt on. I think you're gonna see with Roger's plan to have an asphalt roadway once the second house got built. So,
Well, let's wait and get, because now we're just talking our school. Let's
yeah, I
just
understand.
get what that was and what the conditions were at that time for anything that came down the pike and see what it said.
And I'm wondering if, when you were talking about that second or third house, whether you guys were talking about the property across the street from them, what's his name, Holiday or Landis, whatever his name is, or.
When we discuss houses on this type of area, we don't say house across the street, we say the next house comes in has to do this, because that's just the way it has to be.
Even though I'm not in line.
It doesn't matter, because the people over here might have more money than he knows what to do with, and he doesn't want to build on it.
Which is
I
the issue
think
we have next to me.
what might have happened,
Coming in the other way.
what might have happened down
He bought
here.
all that, and that was scheduled for 6 house lots, and he bought it all and turned it all into one.
Right, so he has no,
He doesn't have any intentions on developing it, and that's his right.
which is fine.
Okay, if you want to,
We thought we had something good coming from the other end, which would have, we worked hard to get that, would have brought it quite a ways up. But
why don't you get the conditions in any of the minutes so you can look at them? We'll digest them, and then at the next meeting, you can call Maureen, put yourself on the agenda, and we can go from there. I mean, I can't see making you pave the whole thing from there all the way to there just for one house.
It's
'cause
not gonna happen.
It's not,
It's just financially, it's,
but it's just not.
I could buy it for me a lot anyway for that, for less than that, with water and everything already.
I mean, unfortunately, like our economy, the economics of a project isn't really anything we really consider anyway. It's just the roadway standards. But I understand, but it's just not something that's in our regs, that if it isn't worth the guy doing, cut him some slack and make the road small.
Well, that hasn't been touched in 20 years. I mean, that's when they put the house I'm living in now, they thought that was gonna get developed, and never did.
Yeah, that variance was a shock when it happened, because the zoning board never, ever gave variances, especially of that magnitude, so I don't know what happened there. I remember they were pretty tough back then, and I was blown away. I had my own engineering business back then, and I used to push the envelope like nobody ever did around here, and they wouldn't have done that for me, so I don't know how it happened. But, be that as it may, we'll take it up at the next meeting and see where,
Would you guys like to hang on to that, or you?
yeah, we'll be getting on to that. And call Maureen, schedule something.
Well, if he does everything filed, you probably should take that back.
Is that's yours?
Only
Yeah,
because.
take it back.
Okay.
Bring it with you next time, and.
Okay.
You said that's from Peters anyway, right? Didn't you say that's his
Yes.
plan? So
Well,
we
not
had
a lot, but
No, the big
it's
plan.
on file, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so we'd have it on in our file.
I will need one of those, one of the sheets that you passed out just for the minute, yeah, that's it.
All right, I'll be back. Thank you,
Okay.
gentlemen, for your
Okay.
time.
Very
Appreciate it.
good.
Thank you.
Okay, so we did invoices, minutes, correspondence, plans for endorsement. Was there any plans for endorsement?
No.
No. Now, be brief, because I have to run to Onset, get my son, and then go to Falmouth. But, do you have anything for an update?
We'll wait till the next meeting.
Yeah. If it's nothing earth-shattering.
Nothing's earth shattering, it's a summer mode, so
Yeah.
I'll have a longer, in-depth report for you at the next meeting.
Okay, John?
Yeah, most of the meeting was a presentation. Sigrid has obtained a drone.
A drone?
A drone, and the guy who does the programming and operates it put on a big presentation. He couldn't get the presentation to work at first, but he
I
finally did.
obtained a shotgun for one drone.
But yeah, I mean, they did some work, I forget what town and so forth, where they took the drone up and they, surveyed the area and so forth. So they're hoping for big things, to big things with it. But that was the gist of the meeting.
I guess if that's it then.
Well, we have a letter from Ed Buckley.
With that,
And just so we don't have to go
See that.
lengthily into it, but I would just like to recommend that, Bob, if you, or Maureen, somebody could reach out to Global Construction and just let them know. We've let Lee know that no more lots were going to be released. And Lee, at the last time, said, well, you know, we had a wet spring, which we did, but here it is summer, and we have the second basin's being installed, being built, the aluminum. I took a ride down there, and they have all beautiful screen loom right on site. It looks nice. The first one
Tough shape.
is rocks. They used all the junk that they had on site, and inside inside of Ed Buckley's letter, he's suggesting that Nitch go out there to do some type of soil. You know, all he's got to do is dig a couple spots, and he's going to realize it's not to what specifications are. And I almost think that, you know, if it's up, the board recommend that we allow or ask Nitch to go out there to start that now, so by the time our next hearing, our next meeting comes up, then we'll have information and we can go further, you know, go there. When I spoke to Ed, I told him the matting would be the best thing, putting the seed matting down, no matter what, even if it's gonna be in the fall, because it's just, you drive in there and there's, how many houses? 30, halfway done, and we're still in the same discussion that we had a year ago about the
it says he
Detention
needed to
area.
have this done by Memorial Day weekend. The weather wasn't that bad, that he couldn't have had it done. In fact, we've had some great weather out there
Yeah.
for growing.
So I think if, you know, if everybody's agrees to, you know, send Nitch out there now, then we'll have information by the time our next hearing is, hopefully, and
I'll agree to that. Recommend Bob give him the go-ahead to get out there.
He's been out there several times. We've got the reports from, mid to late.
well, he might already have the report on that detention, the first one.
Mr. Buckley's had them go out there several times, so they're on top of things out there. But I've been dealing with Lee, but Lee's really not involved in that part of it. He's building the houses and you know, the other company's building the roadway, but I'll switch gears and I'll go directly.
Well,
to-
yeah.
They tried to bounce it back.
And that's
forth,
the- that's-
He takes responsibility.
That's my concern. He said he has the authority to speak for Global Construction, and he did that 2 years ago, which is Nick's wife. She's the manager of, or president of the construction, so he has the authority to speak for her. Problem is every time he comes in here, he keeps saying, well, I'll have to check with Nick, I'll have to check with Nick. So I think at this point, lot releases should be shut off.
Tell them don't come in again.
Unless those two basins are done, because,
What's he got for release right now?
Phase 2 is ready to be released at the end of this month. It'll be 1 year, unless you make a motion to hold off on that, which I'd suggest you do.
I make that motion.
I second it.
So you made a
All in favor?
motion. and,
Aye.
Because we won't meet by the end of the month.
No release, no more release.
No releases until
We have
those,
a letter from, or an email from Mr. Buckley saying that he's comfortable with what's going on. I think we did discuss that last time too, and it hasn't happened yet.
we did.
well, I would say not only that he's happy, but that the basins are doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, and I think he's happy that that's what's going to be.
Well, it's, you have two different ways of saying the same thing.
Because the other concern
Did
that,
somebody second that motion?
I did.
the other concern that Ed has is that the first basin was done kind of haphazardly, and if it's not draining properly, as soon as that becomes town property, it's going to be a mosquito problem for the town of Rainham. And he said, selectmen aren't going to want that, and we're not going to want that, if that's not, that's not draining properly, so it's up
Get
to,
an as-built plan as well, to see that it was built correctly?
Well, I think myself, I think instead of getting an as-built, I think getting all the information from Niche that we need, that the proper materials are used to grow grass. That
And
seems
at
to
the
be.
bottom,
But there's not an issue with,
No, it seems, the slopes,
The
it
grades, the
seems
slopes,
fine.
okay.
You know, it's not excess.
I thought you were
It's just-
saying that it
no,
was
it's-
graded properly.
You know, I'm assuming it's in the right spot. You would think that they put it in the right spot. The slopes look fine, it's just, you know, when he went in there to do it, they had no money. They told us right from the beginning, he had all kinds of problems because there were so many delays, and they were using a big pile of junk.
I mean, if you're gonna build 70 lots and you don't have any money, you're in the wrong business.
Well, you know, so just look at the first one compared to the second one. The second one is beautiful. It's being done, it looks nice. I still think they should use netting in hydro seed, and they can ask the water pump, put a meter on a hydrant, and they can water it. Don't tell us that you can't water it, because the water pump will give you a meter, and they can sprinkleize that whole thing, and that would be,
But I mean, that's
No issues.
kind of Ed's call. We're here to approve the plan and have him build it according to plan.
well, it is, but I think that's what Ed says. I'm just repeating what Ed has in his letter.
Back in Ed's concerns.
Says-
No longer accept this roadway unless it's
Yeah.
They should
built before-
periodically water it, which,
I think if he gets told he's not getting any lots released in this economy,
It's gonna go a long way.
yeah, and I'm just letting you know that there's enough things in place that they can go after to make it happen.
Yeah.
So they can't come in front of us and say, you know, there's a storm, or there's, you know, bad weather, or we don't have water. Because the water plant will put a meter out there and they
the
can.
weather's been great.
Right,
It
so,
couldn't be better. It's in the last couple of months you can grow anything. No, you wait till August, nothing grows.
so that's all
Yeah. Well, I think that would, no, hopefully he'll get on his stick.
Maureen, please.
Otherwise, he just doesn't get any longer.
Do we actually take the vote on that?
Yeah.
We made the motion.
Yeah. Yeah. So that being said, make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in
Aye.
favor? Aye, aye, aye.
All right.